Today on the yellow Evo 8, we have a few goodies I would like to open up to get this day started off. I guess I should give you, I don't need an update on the sunroof. We'll just deal with that when the time comes. If you've been an OG, or not even an OG, if you've seen any of the builds, you know I like to run some of the highest products in the industry. So we have box number 1 right here. Let's just go ahead and open this guy up, and I'll show you who it's from. These two boxes are gonna allow us to make all the sauce in the world. Okay. Hoofty doofty. Let's do her. Here we have part number 1. Part number 1 is a piece of an intercooler pipe. I wish my intercooler pipes looked this good. Number 2, I can tell just by the shape of this thing that it is a candy cane. Now this is a lower intercooler pipe. Beautiful. This is going to be an intake pipe. Should look nicely with our AGT 62mm turb ski attached to her. A big old coupler. The other piece of the intercooler pipe. If you guys haven't figured it out yet, these are all parts from my guys over at ETS, Extreme Turbo Systems. They make the best freaking parts in the world. We got their parts on my Evo 10. When we go through and redo Bobby's Evo 10, put a new motor in there, that's gonna get fully outfitted with ETS parts. Bobby's STI, is currently fully outfitted with every ETS part in the world. And now we pull out the holy grail of this box. A good old 3.5 inch intercooler core. This is gonna be our intake filter. Haha. And then down here is all of the couplers and whatnot for the intercooler piping. Okay, so that's box number 1. That'd be sick to get all that set up today. All the whole boost charging system. Intercooler with all the piping and the intake. Now box number 2 is really, really tall. Bet you would be able to assume what's in this box. I don't want to open this up yet. Let's save that for a later date. So what do we need to do to be able to get the intercooler and piping situated? I think there's a power steering line that runs up there, the AC condenser, the radiator can go in later, right? I think it can, maybe some AC lines. After doing some thinking and assessment, we can just go ahead and get the intercooler mounted up right now. So I'm gonna get this bracket on first. This guy does mount in 3 different locations. So she's gonna be quite sturdy. It's gonna go on here. I'm not gonna tighten them up all the way because there may need to be some adjustments. As you can see, she has some play in her for a good reason. This back piece of cardboard, I should probably take off. This is just on here to protect the fins. Probably wouldn't cool all that good if we left all the cardboard on. So that bracket is gonna go right onto that stud right there. And then these bolt on to those holes, like so. You know what, there is that power steering line, the big loop-de-doop one that runs back here. Let me make sure that I'll still be able to get her on while the intercooler's in. I think it's in our best interest to get that line on first, just to make sure we don't run into any hassle later. All right, so this here is considered the power steering cooler. Pretty high tech, huh? Just a big old line. That bracket is on, that bracket is on. This thing's in really, really good shape, so I just wiped her down. And plus, if we were to recoat it, we would lose all this insulation here. Yeah, there's a little scuff right there, but I don't wanna, I would rather have it be green, not black, and maintain this versus lose a little padding that we got here. So she's gonna feed in like that. This bracket bolts onto the frame rail right there. And then they put a piece of white paint, or a little strip of white paint right there. So one would assume that would bolt there. That makes sense, doesn't it? With that line in place, now we can get this guy on. And it makes sense as to why they space it out, because it looks like the line would hit the back of the intercooler if it wasn't spaced. So these little spacers are for the lower mounts. Right. Intercooler is fully mounted. Everything clears like it should. Ready to party. I'm gonna go ahead and tackle the rest of the power steering line, just get all that 100% complete. We already got the titanium reservoir chilling up on there. We got this hard line right here that runs in the bay, and of course it's a bit crusty, so I'm gonna run through with some gray Scotch-Brite, kind of give her a nice, not really a polish, but just a nice fresh sheen, you could say. Not everything can go black. I mean, it can, but a little bit of, you know, natural coloring is good. I'll probably do the same concept with the AC lines. Just get them, kind of give them a mild polish. Also, this is easy to maintain. If it's a full-on polish and you get some sort of chemical on it, then you gotta freaking strip everything and repolish it. It's gonna look good though. OE Plus is the name of the game. Also, it's good to, if you're gonna do this with Scotch-Brite, to make it look uniform, everything has to be going in the same direction. Like all the scuffing this way instead of this way, if that makes sense. That's what I do. The hardline is installed, all the clamps are in place. I mean, all the clips. I should have had these clamps zinc plated, that would have been sick. So that's all finished up. Now we just need to find our hose that runs from this hardline right here on the cooler over to the reservoir, and we should have a complete power steering system. Found the hose. So this is gonna run like that. It's not right. Let's try this way. That's right. Being that this manifold pushed the turbo over probably an inch, I'm worried that our lowered intercooler pipe is not gonna fit either, but let's give it a shot and see how she goes. Could always get an extended coupler if needed. So that goes there. And that goes there. And this, it looks like it should work fine. Oh yeah. We are in the clear. I'm a big fan of having all the clamps face the same way. It just looks nice, you know? So I think what I'm gonna do here, let's go like this. Of course, the logo on the coupler's gotta face out. Now, of course, we need a intake manifold and throttle body on the car so we can, or before we can do the remaining intercooler piping, and we do not have that. So guess what? Let's open up another box. These are good days, like just cracking open brand new high quality parts and they just bolt right on and you're done. Refinishing stuff is cool, don't get me wrong, it's very fun, but it is nice to have a little break every now and then from all the refinishing and refurbishing. So in this box is a complete exhaust system. From ETS as well. I'm gonna leave all that on just so we don't scuff anything up. You know what I forgot? I guess we are not gonna get a actual day from refurbishing because we have the O2 housing and we have the downpipe that need to be coated. They're just completely bare right now. I already went ahead and sandblasted the downpipe, and then here is our O2 housing. So I'm gonna be Cerakoting both of these pieces because they look like trash, and I think it's gonna look really, really good. So I need to get this guy sandblasted. We can smack out a quick Cerakote. We gotta get that done sooner than later. so the stuff can dry and we can get a full exhaust on the car today. Thankfully, I have the aggressive media in here still, so this will be just a few milliseconds in the blaster and we'll be done. All right, gave them a quick blowy. They're all cleaned up, wiped down, and let's get them sprayed out. Being that the Cerakote we just slapped on as the air cure, we need to wait a couple hours before we really mess with it at all. So in the meantime, I don't see why we shouldn't slap on the catback. Just toss her up on there, man. See how good she looks. See how good the stainless catback looks. I hope I ordered one for the JDM bumper. That'd be a problem. Okay, so how does this even work? If I'm not mistaken, this guy should bolt there for starters. Okay, easy enough. Just do a quick toss up and see. Okay. So we should be doing this right. According to their diagram, this is the JDM bumper muffler because bracket is on tip and not on the muffler. So we're good to go there. So we need to take our hanger, put this insert in it like that, and it's gonna bolt on right there. So it's gonna go bolt with washer on that side, go through, washer, nut. So that's assembled, ready to go. Gonna take a wild guess on this one and just leave it chilling for now. All right, let's toss her up. May as well use one of these. Ooh, one of these guys. Looks like you got everything right first try. I find the easiest way to get these rubber, especially the stiff, like, are they polyurethane bushings on, or the exhaust hangers on, just toss on a little bit of brake cleaner and it'll act as a lube. So now it should go on easy. Okay, so that's on. Now it looks a little bit funny without a bumper on here, so we can't really see how cool it's gonna look coming out of the tail end of this thing, but it's on, it's in place. Of course, it's gonna need some adjustment once we get the bumper and the downpipe on. Okay, our Cerakoted pieces should be plenty dry enough to install. Of course, not to run, because it takes 5 full days for a full cure schedule of these things, but a couple hours are tack-free, ready to lightly and carefully install in the car. I guess I didn't even show you guys what I put on these. Jet Black C138 Cerakote. Let's get this O2 housing on. Now this guy needs a special gasket. This is important news. This is a traditional Evo 8 5-hole or 5-bolt gasket. This is for a recirc style downpipe or O2 housing, I guess you'd say. This guy right here, you see how it has this bridge in the middle? This is gonna seal off the external dump section from the actual downpipe section. And 2 things. First off, if we don't do that, we will have a constant exhaust leak. Even at idle, exhaust will be coming out of here. Secondly, our O2 readings are gonna be off if we do not use the proper gasket. So once again, important news. If you're running an O2 dump, you need this gasket with the bridge in the middle. Cool, let's get her on. I'm curious how that black is gonna look going right into the stainless bare. Hopefully it looks not out of place. I definitely do not want to go through and Cerakote the entire system. That'd be a lot of Cerakote, and I think the bare raw stainless is gonna look really nice. I almost said titanium. I should have done titanium. They do offer titanium in this catback, but I'm a cheap ass and I didn't do it. Okay, so the gasket is gonna sit like so. We already have the titanium studs installed. Feed this guy up. Beautiful TI hardware. Shout out JD Customs. Trying to figure out what I like more, and comment below. Are you guys a fan of the titanium hardware or the zinc plated hardware? Both are amazing. I'm running both. Running into a little bit of a pickle here, and I'm glad I'm sorting this out now so I can order the proper item, proper gasket. So we have the MAP O2 housing, and I don't know what this adapter is all about. This either came with the downpipe, which was on the car, or it came with the O2 housing. Now I have a new OEM Mitsubishi donut gasket here. This is far too small for the opening in the downpipe, and then this one as well does not work. So I need to order up a custom, well not a custom, but a different donut gasket. 2.5 inch ID is what it looks like I need for the MAP O2 housing, and then a bigger OD. This in there is a floppy unit. That ain't gonna seal nothing. I mean, it might, but I would rather just get the right gasket. For now, I still wanna just toss this up on there and get the exhaust system complete so it's not just flopping around the shop. I bought brand new OEM bolts and springs, and these were zinc plated along with the rest of the hardware that we had zinced. Looks good. It sucks putting parts on that I know I'm gonna have to pull off later when we get more parts in, but it's just how it goes sometimes. The MAP O2 dump, the dump itself, interferes really harshly with the downpipe. So I'm gonna have to lop that thing off, rotate it, and weld it back on, which is not fun because I just spent all that time Cerakoting it and it looks amazing, but there's no way it's gonna clear, not even close. And we have a ton of clearance with the lower intercooler pipe, so unless it got bent, which I don't know how that would get bent, but dang, that sucks. I didn't even think to do a test fit beforehand. This has definitely been re-welded. So I feel like someone moved it to where it is from where it used to be, and I'm about to move it back to where it used to be. Tell you what, man, it has been a freaking minute since I did any sort of TIG work. We'll see what we can do. See if I can lay down some dimes. I sandblasted all the Cerakote off just where we're welding for now. Get it nice and tacked up on there. Make sure it clears everything like it should. Fully weld it, go through, blast the whole freaking thing again, and Cerakote. Okay. So, line her up. Give her a couple nice tacks. Don't really need filler on tacks unless your gaps are whack. All right, 2 tacks will do the trick. Let's see if it's gonna clear the downpipe and the lower intercooler pipe. That's really the only things in that area that I'm worried about. I guess I don't need to put it up on the car to see if it's gonna clear with the downpipe. Literally perfect. Okay, so that's good there. Oh yeah, we are golden. We got 2 fingers. I'm excited to weld this thing up. 16th inch filler rod. I like thin stuff. I guess it's already kind of been re-welded, so it's probably not gonna be the best looking joint in the world, but still not an excuse to slap down a janky bead. I love how quiet DC is. Oh yeah, that's beautiful, man. Beautiful weld, Devin. I still got it. I still freaking got it. Got her blasted, fully welded up, blasted, recoated. Now we gotta let it chill for a while. As you can see, it's still, I need to touch it. It's still wet. I was really hoping to get around to tossing on a couple different sets of wheels on this car today, but of course with that modification we had to make on that O2 housing, that just took up a couple hours, but it's done. So tomorrow, well, tomorrow's Sunday. I'm not so sure if I'm gonna make it to the shop tomorrow. I guess we'll see.